I want to welcome you all to the Crypto Kingdom. This is London. How are you? Let's dig into the charts real quickly. We're going to get into Bitcoin, guys. It's been a phenomenal last 24 hours since we went bullish. And guys, let me scroll through to the charts. Excuse me, easy for me to say. Since we went bullish, guys, we went ahead and posted that tweet, etc. It has been phenomenal, guys. We went ahead and posted up on Twitter. Sorry, I had that brought up in the beginning. We went ahead and posted up. I did some analytics, guys. We went bullish on it. I want to let you know we broke out of everything, guys. I just want to tell you to crack your knuckles out, get ready, because we have covered the technicals in depth here, guys. We have covered the technicals in depth. We welcome you back if you are just returning. If you're here for the first time, guys, we want you to subscribe. Definitely subscribe and go ahead and join that, the VIP level, top level membership. Join from a desktop, you guys know, or from, I think, your home computer. It doesn't like cell phones. I don't know why it didn't like cell phones. YouTube algorithm. Guys, look at this. You're currently, are we going to form a triangulation here? I just want to cover this real quickly because it's live action in the process currently at 33,579. What is going on? That's right. And guys, I'm just so excited that we were able to, guys, it looks like a symmetrical triangle, aka also it would be, we would expect this, guys, in line with the original, this huge move to the upside, guys, this huge move to the upside, we would expect some sort of a bullish formation. You guys know that. Front and center, we would say front and center in terms of the bullish formation. We would say what, guys? We would say, hopefully we'll find a bull pennant, right? So we're right in line for that bull pennant. We're really excited about all you guys being here with us at the Crypto Kingdom. We pride ourselves on being the very guys tough as nails in terms of trading, but absolutely just pure to the core in terms of technical analysis. You guys know that, and I'm not talking about the jargon you learn, maybe as an analyst at one point or something else, guys. And not to knock an analyst, etc. I was an analyst, okay, but there's another level beyond for people who really trade, who day trade, who have been through multiple cycles of multiple guys stock markets, etc. And that's what we try and bring to the game, is that upper level echelon. Now, today we're going to cover some very interesting diagnostics. I want to get through some diagnostics in terms of what we decided. And I want to bring it to your attention so that you can remain, I'd say alert in terms of where you are and what your position is. Okay, we'll talk about the contraindications today. Yesterday we had a real good day in terms of, and welcome to all you that are in the group here. I'm just very excited that you guys have shown up. And guys, we just went bullish. You guys know that. So that was. Very exciting to have gone through to have gone through things. So in terms of the entirety of things, let's just let me get back to the overall public chat. I clicked on the membership button for some reason. I'm sorry about that. So we welcome you, William Carter. Nice to see you, guys. What did we decide, guys? We decided this before any other channel. I want to bring this up to you guys. We went through the diagnostics, and I went ahead and I called this out. You guys knew we had this pour down zone, correct? Yes, we did. We had that pour down zone. I went ahead and I called this, guys. This falling wedge. I called it, guys, because it was too well indicated, and it wasn't a borrowed idea from anyone, guys. This was just indicated. I'm like, we've been in this downward sloping channel for too long. This bounce to the downside was a little bit off. It did match up with an extension level, but guys, we just, I did the diagnostics and I cross-referenced it with the monthly. We're going to talk about confirmations today in terms of what you can expect, in terms of what is the proper, I'd say what is the proper methodology, the strategy, that 1, 2, 3 punch that we wanted to deliver. Let's not go to the monthly. I think it's on the weekly. The weekly will conform to this. I want you guys to pay attention to this. This weekly chart very well it has a very expressed, I'm going to say a very nicely expressed indication for a falling wedge, guys. And the lines are going to be a little bit differently on the weekly, okay? But guys, the macro is going to give us the best look at whatever we're involved in. I'm going to tell you that. You guys know that. And in terms of the entirety of this move, guys, just look. I had been posting this throughout the week, and it kind of been bothering me. And I'm like, we're trying to, I know on the weekly, and guys, we always use for confirmation our trades. We always want that next level of confirmation, guys, that higher degree of probability. That's what we've been trying to achieve on Bitcoin. So it's not that we've been just like scarce of bull energy or unwilling to deploy cash. We just wanted confirmation from a higher time frame. We got that here guys. We just got that here recently with the weekly time frame. You guys know that the weekly time frame has been really crucial to look at because it gives us the overall dynamic, the full picture of things, guys. So once I saw this falling wedge, this was about 2 days ago. I published this to different individuals. And exactly what we have been talking about is let's see, Gartley pattern on the 4 hour, and I see that Pearson looking for a Gartley pattern. We can look at Gartley patterns. We can look at those. A lot of people shy away from that. I think the basics that you can get into, guys, the basics on technical analysis. If you look at the basics on TA, guys, this book, Principles of Technical Analysis, it's going to show you. I have some important stuff to share with you regarding a falling wedge. We're going to talk about that today. It's not standard common information, guys. It's not the ordinary course or routine about what what you're going to find is very advanced information, but it's extremely like core to the central in terms of what is a falling wedge. When are they the bottom? When are they the top? When should you consider them as a continuation pattern, and when should you not? Okay, that's what we're going to cover today, guys. And literally, we're going to go by the book here in a little bit. We're going to go by the book in terms of whether or not a falling wedge should be considered a continuation pattern. What's the caveat there? What is it that you can use to increase the likelihood of your trades? Just as I defined this 2 days ago, I sent that out in a post to a tweet. You guys make sure that you turn on the notifications, guys. Very, very crucial in terms of the notifications. Make sure you turn those on. But it's going to be, you have a little bit of a contraindication in the authorities, guys. In these authorities, I'm just going to say, in terms of the technical analysis, in terms of the authorities, what is their approach? What do they say that a falling wedge is? Because you clearly have that defined, guys. That's on the weekly. If you have a pattern on the weekly, as sure as you had a triple top, guys, a triple top on the weekly, yeah, that's a little bit heavier than a double top. We had a triple top on the weekly, very difficult to get around. So as we look at this, guys, this falling pattern here is just the falling wedge here. It is considered, and please listen, it is considered a bullish pattern. I'm going to say that. As a matter of fact, it's considered to be a bullish pattern, period. Okay? Now, the caveat is that it's also considered to be a continuation pattern. Typically, we would like to see them, and this is the nuance that I'd like to bring up to you, and kind of if we could have a conflict of interest almost in terms of like a contrary indication. Now, what a continuation pattern means is it's going to start from the downside, it's going to pour, and it's going to pour down. It's going to start going down, it's going to continue to go down. We have a bit of a contraindication here in terms of, well, we approach this falling wedge, we approach it from the downside. So it should give this some more momentum to the upside, guys. It should reestablish that bullish nature. Now, it does discuss in the text. I've done the research, just so you guys know. I've been doing this research for 20 years, guys. That's just the truth. I've loved trading for many years. You guys know on my Twitter, et cetera. Former private hedge fund, not SEC. You guys know that, but private hedge fund, extremely successful, guys. At least $500,000 invested, 300+% return on investment, 300+% per annum. Annualized, okay? So this is not a joke. This is not, well, I think this, think that. No, we have some very good diagnostics, guys, and that's just the truth. We are not institutional hedge fund guys. Don't worry about that, but we do bring that level of diligence to the table, okay? We're not just a chop shop, figuring out another opinion. We want to bring you the best diagnostics. We want to increase the probability of your trades, guys. That's what we want to do. We appreciate all you VIPs streaming in right now. Hit that like button if you can while you come in the room, so I know you showed up. We can go over price targets, which we just measured on the specific, on the micro. But this is the weekly chart. It is giving this expression, and 2-3 days ago I came up with this. Before yesterday, I decided, you know what, we're getting a good 1-2 punch with the SpaceX news, with Elon, with the potential for turning around with green energy, et cetera. JP Morgan yesterday, you guys know that, and we did the diagnostics about how in January it looks like JP Morgan, they were comporting with the fundamentals. They were, and how, essentially their fake out here in January. I understood that, guys. I understood the nature of the technicals. I presented that yesterday. We talked about how not to get faked out now, because the technicals can contraindicate. One of the ways that we can do that, guys, is definitely staying in touch with Crypto Kingdom. I'm going to let you guys know that if you're not fully plugged into the Twitter, guys, we've been all over this move, guys. I'm going to tell you, we've been all over the move since the tweet that we sent out. Just bam, it has rocketed up, guys. It's been a nice move to the upside. We're holding about even since the reset, but up 2-3%. Just send the tweet out and said, hey, we're going bullish. Boom. Okay. And why? Because it was indicated. Because at final last year on the weekly, you see this falling wedge, definitely. And shout out to Andrew. Nice to see you, Andrew, our lead support analyst. Very nice to see Andrew, and also a huge supporter of the channel. Very nice to see Andrew in the mix. I know he's been doing very well equities as well. A lot of us trade equities and crypto. But as we look at this falling wedge, we're going to confirm it first of all in another time frame. We're looking for that confirmation. A lot of people want to break out through, let's say, a level of resistance, and then they want to achieve a reconfirmation, a hit where the former resistance will turn into support and then move to the upside, right? We also look for confirmation, guys. That's a measure of all the indices, of all of the all the indications that we can measure. We want a confirmation of everything. We want 100% confirmation of everything. And sometimes we'll make it a 70 or 80% confirmation, right? Here, the larger time frame confirms. Okay, the larger time frame confirms. Now, when I first started looking at this pattern, okay, 2 or 3 days ago, mind you, it was not confirming. as it began to confirm, staying liquid, staying very fluid with this falling wedge, guys. And the reason we are up right now is this. Okay, this is the reason that we are up. If you don't know the reason, it's because we're in a falling wedge. It's decided to bend back through. I've documented that heavily on our Twitter, guys. You know that. And in terms of that documentation, it's just, I think it's the best TA you guys are going to find. And we have a group dynamic to it. We appreciate Andrew, you being the lead support analyst. Very nice. Very nice. His TA is unbelievable, guys. VIP extraordinary. He definitely slams that home every day. Now, in terms of this move to the upside, you guys know that it was down. And I'm telling you guys, it was falling out of this. And I was expressing concern, definitely expressing concern. It did flip around with the JP Morgan decision and the Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey, event. That's just the truth. That's exactly what happened. As we began to discuss the nature of the changes, actually, we saw some changes before then. I'm going to say that, but we did. As a matter of fact, we saw some changes before that time. I want to be clear about that. So we did start to see the changes before then. It did, as I recount those the last several days. Definitely wanted to do that. Shout out to anyone also in the Crypto Kingdom who traded AXS, guys. I brought AXS to the group, just so you guys know. I brought AXS to the group at $9.50. $9.50 to try and trade up and above the return that people have gotten between $9.50 and $42 or $45. Okay, so very, very nice gains. And I had just repeated to everybody in terms of a micro coin, hey, let's get in a bull market if we can while we were in the midst of a retracement. So it's just about perfect. With the time that cooled off, you guys got back involved in Bitcoin, etc. You may still be trading. We love to trade. If it's got price action, we're going to trade it. Now let's go on to the smaller time frame. Let's look at how this does comport in terms of the overall nature of the confirmations we're looking for. This is the 3 hourly. We can go to maybe the 4 hourly. The 4 hour chart would give us a good indication also of this falling wedge. And exactly, guys, what we have determined that essentially definitely you guys were in without a doubt, and what we have broken out of. And just really exciting to have been able to turn kind of the tides of, I'm just going to say, would you want to say our own analytics? Maybe as things shift, guys, malleability. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. What's the key to increasing your probabilities, guys? What is the key to doing that? We talked about the fake out yesterday with JP Morgan, right? The fake out. Then what was it? Well, it was immediately, you guys will understand, you guys remember, it was the bull flag. It was the chart pattern. If that was the take in and around this area and around the 41,000, you guys know, well, the next move was crucial. That was the formation of the downward sloping channel, the formation of the bull flag, which completed perfectly to the upside, guys, perfectly to the upside in terms of flags flying half mast. So that was the indication. That was the fallback strategy in terms of yes, we had achieved a maximum here. Then we look at the chart patterns. Now here we were looking at we went into those chart patterns heavily yesterday. We really did. And in terms of that, I just hope that you guys appreciate the fact that we went into them heavily. I went into them heavily. I began to really post and write on them, and I said, you know what, guys, I got to tell you. And then I saw other people pick up on it. Inevitably, other people are going to pick up on it, and I don't mind that, guys, as long as people are part of the market and they're being treated well wherever you guys are listing or whatever you're doing. I just prefer that you guys get solid market intel. That's all I would say. So in terms of this, it's just it's really what do I say? Exciting that we defined this. We did shoot the post out, and bam, we've been moving to the upside, guys. It's like it's copy that time, guys. Very nice. And in terms of the probabilities, I just view this, and we will get through the diagnostics again. People are just turning in. We're gonna get through the diagnostics today. Okay, I want to go by the book, guys. This is the New York Institute of Finance book. I'm gonna dig into it a minute to show you what the institution, what Wall Street's thinking. That's what I want to do now, is show you what Wall Street's thinking versus what we're guys. If you're institutional, or we have some institutional people that are with the channel, etc. So welcome everybody. It's probably what everybody's thinking right now. It's a very sophisticated group of traders that you guys are. Now, in terms of the falling wedge, guys, it can be a continuation pattern. That does not seem to be occurring right now. It seems to be expressing itself in one of maybe the less common forms. Okay, now listen, this is the nuance. Okay, it's with less frequency that amidst a retracement. And guys, I have literally just gotten finished with a literal in-depth review of this. Okay, I'd say a graduate level kind of real fine-tuning this notion that yes, a falling wedge is supposed to be a continuation pattern, okay? However, and it is contradictory in the book, it says, however, the general rule is, and it talks about that dichotomy, it talks about the split in authorities, and it says, however, the general rule is that a rising wedge is bearish, okay? It says the general maxim that a rising wedge is bearish and a falling wedge is bullish. period. It discusses the conflict. It discusses the problems traders may have in identifying them, etc., and whether or not they're to be considered a continuation pattern. And literally, the New York Institute of Finance, I'm just going to bring them up because, guys, that's where Wall Street goes to train. A lot of them do. In terms of that, you guys are probably beating Wall Street quite a bit of the time, or you're in Wall Street and you're still trying to beat Wall Street all the time. And that's what we do definitely enjoy. So just that level of competition. So that is signed off on, guys, by Wall Street kind of authorities, by companies affiliated with Wall Street. That is the truth, okay, in terms of what they believe and what they have delivered. It's not an idea. It's not something we've gotten out of the back of a Google. No, guys, it's fundamentals of technical analysis. That's what we want to focus on here. We want to bring you the best information, the highest level of the highest level of just overall, you guys know this, just the overall level of accuracy in a timely manner so that you can maximize your profit. So we were able to do that today with the posts on this, and I'm just excited about it, guys. We have some potential here. We can talk about the price targets if you guys want to go through the price targets right now. Right now. We may be, let me see what we have here. Right now, we have a few different pricing targets, guys. When you talk about a continuation pattern, we can also talk about a reversal. If you wanted to talk about a reversal, we could discuss that, guys. We can discuss the fact that that is brought up in the literature as well. A reversal pattern may be indicated by this formation. It is quote unquote somewhat less what is it? Not less reasonable. What is it? It is much less common, quote unquote. What else is much less common? Bitcoin, the growth potential of Bitcoin. Okay, so I would say that. I would literally quote it, guys. It's page 147 on your materials if you guys have that. It is, quote unquote, much less common. Let me see. That type of situation is much less common near the end of an uptrend, etc. It says the charts may observe a rising wedge. It's talking. You guys read this. You guys read exactly when it can constitute a reversal, etc. Okay, and it's nuanced through the different. There's some complex situations. Is it the top? Is it the bottom? If you have a rising wedge at the top, that may be indicated. What if you have a falling wedge somehow? It's talking about the move up, etc. From the, say, a contraindicated move. If a rising wedge is supposed to break down, guys, we know that typically the standard MO, and read it, guys, they're confused when they write it, I think, to a degree, but there is that level of ambiguity because it is a bullish pattern standardly, but they'd like to consider it as a continuation pattern. And the ideal, just so you guys know, just so we see this and we look at a 90% move, let's start off with what would be like a 90% move we would experience on a continuation pattern. Okay, well, we would probably say on a continuation pattern, we would want to see something cruising up. And let me go ahead and really highlight this so you guys can see. I think this will be instructional if anyone's listening along, for the ride this weekend. We hope you guys are having a good start. We appreciate you being with us on Friday. But as we look at this, guys, if we were to start up like this and we were to define a falling wedge like this, okay, falling wedge like this, we would anticipate that wedge would break to the upside, okay? That's a continuation pattern. That's an example of a continuation pattern. I'm going to correct this very quickly, and I'm going to demonstrate what the confirmation would look like. That confirmation, pattern, that would establish, guys, that would be essentially your falling wedge, and we would want to definitely distinguish that, and I will here. We would want to distinguish that from any type of a descending triangle, okay? This is going to have the descending line of resistance, the descending line of support, both of them, guys. Support and resistance are both going to be descending, okay? On a descending triangle, guys, are going to have a flat line of support. You guys know that. So in terms of that, that's what we would expect to be a continuation pattern, right? Very clearly indicated. That's a high probability trade. Now, amidst a retracement, this will sometimes frustrate, guys. If you're up amidst, let's say, a coin that has achieved a new high and it's really slamming down, you'll run into a wedge a lot of times. You guys know who day trade a lot. You'll run into a wedge. It won't want to fully complete up to the top. So as we look at that, guys, if you're new, if you've just shown up to the stream, please go ahead and hit the like. So I know you just showed up. That will help me cover the information we covered in the very beginning. We started off, we have gone to the weekly chart on this falling wedge, guys. We were the first to publish this, so I'm excited about that. I'm gonna say bullish, guys, with the caveat, guys. There's still some contraindications out there. We're still fully looking at those. I want you guys to still always, just like that January moment. You guys know that you always need to be ready for that 1-2 point. punch, right? That strategy, you need that backup. So in terms of that, like in January, where we hit that 40,000, guys, we hit the 40,000. Everyone's all over the news, all the corporate executives, everyone, JP Morgan. Well, it's just over. It's 40,000. That's probably going to be it. Well, he had that indication on the Fibonacci time frame. You guys understand that? We went through that yesterday. If you guys want a quick review on that, it's real simple, guys. And we can actually, if you guys want to walk through how we did that yesterday, because I know that's received quite a bit of attention, and I'm excited to go over that again with you guys. That Fibonacci time zone, guys, as you look at that, it's going to be underneath. It's going to be underneath the pitchfork. Scroll down, go with your Fibonacci trend-based fib time zone. Okay, you're going to click on that, and then you're just going to essentially you're going to click on it. Then you're going to drag the first line over, and I normally go from peak to peak. Okay, peak to peak. It's a great tool to look at pivots, guys. To look at what is the timing of your pivots. We have the 2017 all-time high of about 18,000 thereabouts. We have the 2019. Okay, guys, high of about 14. Pivot. Right, then we have this 2021 right along the pivot, right along this, right along the indicated fib time zone, right? Correct. And in terms of that, guys, this is why it was indicated by the street. Everybody was like, well, this is it, right? Well, what did we fall back on again? We fell back on, instead of just saying, well, that's it for Bitcoin, we fell back on our charting patterns, right? That's what saved the day then. Right now, guys, and that's what gave a huge, monumental kind of move up to the upside to the 64,863.10, $64,863.10, and that was an incredible move for people who missed it because they were just relying on, say, one nuanced indicator. That's not what we want. We don't want unilateral focus. We want the ability to manage all of our indicators at the same time. It's crucial. Now we're in a circumstance, guys. The charting patterns came into play then. They came into play today. You guys know exactly how they did. We've discussed it, and we have some I'd say some backup charts here. This is the primary chart. Those are some older charts. We reformed. This was the primary chart we went with today on Twitter with the post, etc., saying, hey, this is a bullish formation. It was Bitcoin bullish. That's it. It's a falling wedge. It's bullish. Having read the materials, guys, page 147 of the Principles of Technical Analysis, guys, of the financial markets, guys, of all the financial markets. This works on stocks. It works on everything with price action, guys. This is how traders definitely look at things. It looks like we're hitting a little bit of a stumbling block here. We can go into the nuanced details of exactly the price action right now. The other formation. Some people may be talking about, different. I would doubt right now they'd be talking about a curvature. They could be talking about a curvature formation here. It's a little bit deep. It does not have the right shoulder. So in terms of anyone saying, well, it looks like an inverse head and shoulders, I'll say, it does not have that right shoulder right now. It doesn't seem to be indicated on the daily chart. I'll just say on the daily. It may be somewhat of a curvature formation. If we wanted to look, they would, say a curvature or a saucer type formation, some sort of a rounded bottom formation. It's an inverse. I appreciate Andrew bringing up an inverse Elliott wave. What I like that is it's just a nice rounded feature to the essentially giving you a pricing target. It is the equivalent of an inverse head and shoulders. You guys know that. But as we look at, the possibility, anyone who right now is talking about a head and shoulders, guys, or inverse head and shoulders, clearly, but anyone who's discussing that, guys, don't forget the fact you need a right shoulder, guys. There really is no right shoulder right now. So the guys who are blasting that through, it's not indicated, guys. It's just not indicated. The descending triangle, I do want to bring that up, because to the extent that has been around, and guys, on the candlesticks, and I changed some diagnostics today. I went ahead and did this because we had completed out so far, and as I talked yesterday about the lesson in terms of what all we went through, I'm like, well, charting patterns, I'm like, what is it about this pattern? How can I change it? Because we just went through JP Morgan. They just offered it to all their investment portfolios, all their wealth, their wealth clientele, wealth management division. We just went through. SpaceX now owns it. We just went through, and as I'm thinking through this, I'm like, there's got to be something more bullish here. There's got to be something more bullish here. And sure enough, the more we looked, the more I looked cross time frame, I realized, well, there is something more bullish that I've already talked about. I've already published that. I haven't talked about it much on the stream, but I know, for a fact, I mean, it's just clear as day, in terms of this. And I had published that a number of days ago. Hadn't really streamed about it, guys. Hadn't really gotten to the point where I wanted to, really discuss it in terms of a live stream, etc. Because, it was a bit tenuous. To the extent I talked about it on Twitter, I wanted to let you guys know, on any posts that I did or any communications, I wanted to let you guys know that, not only was it kind of tenuous, but in addition to that, it was really breaking down from that. And that was the crucial, I'd say the key factor, is that it was breaking down from this, and that was really the key feature, that this breakdown here was like clearly indicated. You guys look up back on the post, it was like it was breaking down out this way. I'm like, that just can't happen. So we've seen quite the reversal in the power up through this. And please look back at those posts, guys, because there's a really clear indication of that. The thing that gave it to us, and I'm going to erase this real quickly so you can see, the thing that gave us this, guys, was this flat line here along the line of support, and was this flat line here along a line of resistance. When we saw this measure out, guys, on the weekly, I'm like, there's something going on the weekly. Now, we were falling out from below that beforehand. It was below here. It's done a huge monumental swing, guys, a huge monumental swing within the last week. This is exciting news for bulls, right? For guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen alike, who want to establish a position, who have a position in Bitcoin. It just is. I'm excited that we're involved in this space right now. In terms of the descending triangle, is it something we just forget altogether? I'm going to tell you, I've also published in the back room. It looks like definitely we have beaten the descending triangle. If that's the backup, and guys, if we want the confirmation, not just on the time frames, not just on the RSI, the MACD, not just on the volume, guys, we want confirmation in terms of, we can disqualify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chart patterns. That's what we want to do, because there's going to be a lot of interpretation amongst the traders, the guys who are trading this, and that's who's determining who's putting the cash in. That's who's determining which lines of support. Guys, a line of support is where people are entering into orders. That's the line of support. That's what's going on. When you see the price stick and rise, guys, it's not going to hover. If there's no support, it's going to fall through. So in terms of that, different traders will see different patterns. You guys know that. And so when we're dealing with different patterns, when we're going through, let's say, the nuance, let's say, structuring here of let's say, would it be a descending triangle? Let's go through that real quickly, because we covered this kind of heavily. What would that have required us to do? Or what has it required us to do? Let's still talk about it, guys, as if it were live. Well, it has required us to recognize the bottom here of this candlestick, this movement on May 18th, down to real close, about 29,000, guys, right at the $30,000 mark. That big pour down that we saw after this ascending wedge, okay, after this ascending wedge, which is a very bearish formation, guys. That was the hook, line, and sinker in terms of, well, we have hit a point where it needs to, we need to probably either go short or be out of the market. That ascending wedge was really crucial at that 64.8, 63.10 all-time high. Now, in terms of this, I want to go over what would be required, and it was a little bit of a stretch. I did bring this up. It would require us to deal with the candlesticks and to draw in on the candlestick formations. You guys know that this move down, this is just on the candlestick. Now this is on the let's go on the we can maybe go on the daily as well. I think on the daily you'll see it as well, guys. If you stick with the candlesticks, guys, and the wicks. The wicks and the sticks, essentially what I normally say. But as you look at this, I'm going to say, even if we are to view this, and this is the good, I was talking about confirmation, not just like RSI. Well, we want to look at, previous resistance turning into support and kind of a rebound and, rejettison to the upside. No, we're looking at all the indicators. We're looking at all the patterns. We're looking at all the possibilities, and every one that we took off, maybe it gives us a 5% increase in likelihood of the trade. Maybe some of them are at the front and fourth center as you look at, how you're going to maximize your essentially maximize your profitability. In terms of this move here, we can define this however we like, guys. We're in a unique circumstance where we have two options right now. Now, in terms of the overall nature of this, you may either, because it's just, they're both indicated. One, I think, we always talked about the descending triangle as requiring something that we normally don't build into the equation. It required that we go onto the candle wicks, guys, and that's not normally something we do normally. And I've brought up the caveat numerous times. However, it did seem to be indicated, and it was such a broad pattern that if I drew it out, you guys understood that. Now, in terms of either one of these patterns on the aggregate, guys, we have busted out up and through that. That's the good news. So we can talk about, well, this was that way, guys. You may have 5 or 6 different patterns at one time on at least every different time frame. You'll hunt through the different time frames. You'll flip through one of the 21 time frames, and you'll have, well, this is a completely different pattern. Now it's a descending triangle, and let's say, instead of a bull pennant, you'll run into those as you continue to trade. So on multiple guys time frames, I'm going to say from the weekly to the hourly to the daily to the more micro channels, guys. Guys, we are through both of these, and this is really nice, and I'm really excited that we were able to to give it this, kind of expression internally here within. We appreciate you guys so much being a part of the crypto kingdom, because we gave it this kind of nuance, like I'd say just kind of slam dunk, like we think, this can do this, right? And that's nice to be able to push into the market and to enter into positions and have them increase in value to, kind of step forward when other people saying, it's going down, it's going down. We kind of changed our tone. We liked what we were hearing in terms of JP Morgan. We liked what we were hearing in terms of SpaceX. I'm like, this is the type of news, and I just had to say it, and you guys know that, because it's the type of news we have to pay attention to, because if that were to compound, I'm going to say, if that does compound within the next week, guys, we're going to have a very interesting, rest of the month here, guys. It's going to be very, very interesting. It could be a very interesting year if news like that begins to occur. I talked about the fact that as I'm talking and walking around, with friends, etc., I'm beginning to hear more people talk to me about Bitcoin. If they hear, what I have been, what I've been doing in terms of the station, and how well you guys are doing, particularly if they hear how well you guys have been doing, it is just phenomenal to hear their level of interest, guys. Their level of interest is phenomenal right now in terms of Bitcoin. And that, guys, I talk with a lot of people. A lot of well-connected people. And I talk with you guys. You're well-connected. Your sentiment on it is bullish, and it's just that's the truth, guys. So it's nice for me to express that to you guys, what I'm hearing, to be able to communicate that to the overall broader audience, and just to have that strength kind of resurface. It's a good feeling. I'm glad that we're in the market right now, and that we're able to redeploy things as quickly, guys. And it's not that we have gotten this right or wrong. We are constantly evaluating the probabilities of positive trades. We are constantly evaluating the possibility for a reversal. You guys know that. As we look at it, I'm going to remind you guys about this. Very interesting. On the 1 hourly, guys, you guys know we got involved in the reversal down here before this move to the upside. You guys know, and it was just plain as day in terms of this pattern formation. The closer that we go, you guys will see, and you'll appreciate this very much, because I gave this to the back room, and it was on the different time frames. On a smaller time frame, it's even more beautiful. But this was just a small ascending triangle right before this dramatic move to the upside. I gave it to the VIPs in the back. I'm like, guys, I want you to pay attention to this. Just please pay attention to this, because we were consolidating down after a heavy drop down. We got into an ascending triangle, which is bullish. It can serve as the base. It can form the foundation for a reversal. And I've talked about if this tiny little, and guys, this is on the 30-minute chart. If you get more nuance into it, we can dig in just for a second so you can appreciate kind of the value of this move. Yeah, there we go. On the 5-minute, you guys will definitely see it. I think that's the time frame I sent it on, and it was a little bit more extended to that, but I sent that to the VIP, and I was like, okay, guys, it definitely does appear right when this and I looked at the support. I looked at that level of support. That level of support really told me, I'm like, we do have 2 hits, and they are ascending. Okay, we have a higher low, so that indicated to me, and I brought that to the attention of the group, that yes, it looks like we could have some bullish activity. They were talking about bear flag, etc. And I brought up a real choppy bear flag for them to look at, and didn't hear much back. It wasn't a very popular opinion, and I didn't really intend it to be. It was crisscross. I was like, I don't know about. We're going to stick. We have traded so many ascending triangles, guys. They've really worked out phenomenally well. I'm a big fan of ascending triangle trades. So as we look at that, guys, that launched us up into this area of the ascending triangle. It looks like we may technically have been into another, I'm going to say, ascending kind of triangulated formation here. They've been very popular to trade. If you guys are looking for your favorite, whatever your favorite, everyone will have their own kind of favorite pattern trade, etc. Some of you may deal with the indicators, RSI, MACD, etc. But you can just see, you can start to see these just are stacking up, guys. They're just stacking up sometimes more quickly than they can build. We broke through that line of resistance and this kind of brings everyone together. I like this, because all the different channels, everyone else may have a different opinion. You may have your own framework. Whatever that framework is right now, at least on this descending, I would say on this descending line of resistance, we have broken out of those. Okay, so we may have a few other nuanced patterns that we haven't broken out of yet. I'd like to discuss that now in terms of what possibly haven't we broken out of yet. Would you guys like to hear that? I think it's important for us to go through what would the patterns be that we potentially have yet to conquer. We're going to talk about that right now. There is one nuance level that I want to bring to your attention, okay? And it's very important, guys, as we talk about whether or not we were in a wedge formation, or we were in a excuse me, we were in a, this is very important, guys. Please listen to this. Please listen to this. This is very important, okay? And when I get into the nuance, the construction of this logic, I need you to please pay attention to this, okay? First of all, there is an argument technically that we are bifurcated in between the first level here, this first level of retracement, and along this zone. I'm going to say this zone from about, what is it, 33,000 up to about ballpark 40,000. There's an argument that we are bifurcated. We are split between this zone, and we are split between another zone here. We're going to talk about the other lines of resistance that we may be running into. To the extent that we are in our own time frame here, our own kind of new period here, I want to discuss that. And I want to talk about on the hourly exactly what lines of resistance, and I'd like to draw them lightly, but I want them to be evident, okay? I do definitely want them to be evident in terms of what you guys are looking at in your, essentially as you trade. We're always going to be defining, okay, a trend line. We're always looking at a trend line, guys, always. As we look at a trend line here, this is going to be on the micro, on the most I'd say the most don't want to say intrinsic pricing behavior, but it is the most I'd say the most recent periodic pricing action. I think that's well stated. As we look at this, guys, let me go ahead and make sure that that's visual order is correct. It looks like it is. Now, in terms of the volume accumulation, you guys can see the volume accumulation at the at this mid to lower level here. This mid-level channel before that broke down, the majority of that volume is in around 31,700. We've just kind of gotten back up into this region, but in line with this most recent periodic expression here, if we are bifurcated, guys, I'm going to say kind of this schedule 2 or this second interval. Let me see if I can go ahead and put in. Let me delineate this just for purposes of analytics. Let me go ahead and delineate this. I'm going to delineate this as kind of schedule 1 here. Okay, that's going to be our first frequency level. Okay, in terms of the pricing, I'm going to delineate this here as level 2, and level 2 is going to be a little bit lower. Okay, we're going to get through this, and I think you guys, it will make some sense to you guys in terms of the diagnostics that we're doing and what we're looking at. Now, in terms of this, I want to go ahead and clarify this so that we can look through and we can see you guys. You have this as the second periodic pricing frequency here. Now, we're going to be very exact, guys, because as traders, you guys know we're going to be extremely tight with our lines. We're definitely going to be doing this in terms of entering into a position or taking a position. A lot of you may be in a position now you just want to go long. If you just want to go long of Bitcoin, guys, I'm going to tell you we're in a beautiful, this is the thought I had today. I have to honestly be honest about this, guys. I thought we are in a beautiful position right now to do what? And it's not financial advice, to enter into a position with Bitcoin. Okay, we're in a beautiful position to do it. Why? I thought, you know what, if people are talking about it going down so much, we're talking about it going down to what, 15,000? If it goes down to 15,000, why wouldn't we just buy like 3 or 4 or 5 times as much? You know, honestly, if it goes down to 15,000, isn't that the easy solution right now? And we're prepared all the time. I know the VIPs are always prepared for that. They have the reserve cash. You guys as subscribers, you have the reserve cash for it. We don't want it to go down at all. But isn't it a good time to go to get involved in Bitcoin? I just honestly believe it is. We have all this synergy going from SpaceX to JP Morgan to the big banks on Wall Street, etc. I just believe, I'm starting to get the feeling around with people, etc. It's just a good time to buy Bitcoin. That's just what I feel like. And you know what? If it were to go down and you get a better deal on it, great. Why don't you buy 5 times as much? Like, it's a great thing. I love what it can do with these things, right? I love what it can do. It can make money, right? And it can also transfer money. It's a great new technology. So in terms of out of the dark ages, yeah, I think we are starting to have like real believers on this channel. Like, I have to go ahead and admit, like, I love lower prices. You guys know that all the time. But when I see the technicals turn around, I see the institutions start to come back, and I have to say, it made a difference with me. It just starts to make a difference with Jamie Dimon and his crew and JP Morgan and SpaceX and everybody else. It's like, well, we're involved now. Our wealth management division, we're involved now. I'm like, oh, now you're involved. So you're cutting. This is the one thing I have to say, this, guys, is very interesting in terms of their dynamic and what they're going through. Because what are they doing? Well, they're cutting out. They cut out, and they didn't experience, we don't think they experienced, very interesting, did they? They may have played the shorts on this, like you don't, or the longs, like you have no idea on an options basis. We have no idea. What an interesting comment for the people in the street and JP Morgan, etc. Like, they told us here at 41, well, it's never going to go past 41. What did that do to everybody on CNBC? Well, we shouldn't buy it now. Then what did all those people do? They went and bought it up here. The people after it pumped up and everything else, it went from 41 to 64, 86, 310 on CNBC. I think Jamie Dimon, I think that, I don't know, you guys look him up. The head of JP Morgan says, well, we're never going past $40,000 again. I'm like, do what? When I'm watching it, I'm like, do what? We're never going past. You're looking at the diagnostics. I understand why he said it, but the funny thing is, everybody in America saw that on CNBC. Who cares about the market? Well, I guess we're not getting into that, Okay, we should get into it. JP Morgan saying no. What's funny is those same people who said, okay, we agree with him, they bought back in up here. So whatever you're hearing on that CNBC, hey, keep the technicals to yourself. You guys do your own research, etc., because it's just an odd dynamic, isn't it? Everybody's like, that's why maybe you're not big fans of big institutional houses, brokerages. Just understand they may not always get the chance to re-explain themselves. Like, we'd like to come back on CNBC tomorrow because you look at the market has changed. Can you imagine having to always enter into a position and not be able to re-explain yourself? So it's just an interesting dynamic because I've spoken with so many people, and I have something else to kind of report. I think it's very interesting of the people that I've spoken to, and guys, it's a higher, I'd say a very high echelon in terms of executives, wealth managers themselves, etc. Listen to this, guys. Listen, I have spoken to wealth managers at very high levels who they themselves bought Bitcoin in along the top. I'm talking about people who manage very large firms, guys, manage very large clients. They themselves bought in and around the top. So this, in terms of the overall dynamic, that is something, and this is the interesting part about this. I've met them, they told me that, and what is the deal? Not one of them has seemed upset about it. Not one of them has seemed upset about it. I've just realized that today. They bought at the top. Everyone has told me, and guys, multiple people. I'm talking like big time people with big time clients, guys. You see them on TV. I'm going to say that you see them, not YouTube. You see them on TV, guys, like big time people on TV. Some of these clients, okay? They have told me that they individually, I bought Bitcoin, and I bought about 63,000. They're just happy about it. I'm like, what is going on? I finally realized that yesterday. I'm like, there's something weird going on here. I don't know. Is there an expectation that it is going to go back up that they're not telling me in the background? What is really going on with this? Because none of them are upset for having bought high. Maybe they're not overexposed, first of all. I would say maybe they're not overexposed. Okay, that would be a huge, huge factor in that. They're comfortable. That's fine in terms of their position. They didn't leverage the farm or the ranch, and some of them have big time land. I'm just going to tell you, they're interesting people. But, as we look at this, a lot of them, even the sophisticated wealth managers, they bought in at the top. So if you did, join the club. There's tons of them. Okay, I'm going to tell you, there's tons of people who did. And the majority, there's a real high cost of ownership, which is interesting. I'm going to bring up a real interesting kind of a nuanced approach today. We're going to talk about market value versus if we want to talk about this. I don't know. We should get into this. It's a little bit nuanced. We're going to talk about the market capitalization versus quote-unquote real value. Have you guys discussed that at all? Have you looked at the aggregate real value of a market? Have you looked at that? What is the actual average cost basis of a market? What is it? It's different than the market capitalization. Did you guys know that? The actual the average true cost of ownership in a market, I'm talking about the average of everybody in the market percentage-wise. What do they own Bitcoin at? Well, that's the market capitalization. No, it's not, guys. No, it's not. If you guys want to dig into that, I look forward to you digging into that, guys. It's very interesting. What's the real, true average cost of ownership? It's not the entirety of the market cap, guys. It is not that same level. No, we're talking about the total aggregated cost of ownership of Bitcoin. Where is it? I'm just going to tell you guys. It's down here. We'll do the calculations. It's down here. The overall aggregated, not the market capitalization, but the value that everyone has spent on it. Yeah, that value, guys, it's down in this level. As you look at the diagnostics on it, it's a very interesting, because we start to think, well, that's the value, that's everything in it. No, everything in it is a little bit below here. I would just say, look at the green line right now. Look thereabouts, guys. It's below. Believe it or not, that's where it is. It retraces to that sometimes. We can go through those diagnostics. It's interesting as you guys look at market capitalization versus kind of real value, quote unquote, real valuation or real market valuation. So let's see. Skeptic for a show. What we're going to do is we're going to appreciate, you guys know I'm not formally affiliated with any department, agency, bureau, nor military division, domestic or abroad. You guys know that. Definitely know that. But I've had some teachers that have been in the Air Force, etc. So I sport the hat, and hats off. We have a lot of people in Germany, etc. in our group that are Air Force and everything else. So it's nice to have all you guys who are in the U.S. military. We definitely welcome you. I just wear this as a shout out. What's up? We got who's our member? We have Kuda out in Germany. What's going on with CUDA? We have domestic here. We have some people in Korea. I'm going to shout out to the Korea faction. I won't mention all the names. To the Korea faction. To the who else we have? I trained in military intelligence, guys. I studied military intelligence. I love it. My grandfather was in the U.S. Air Force, etc. So you guys know a lot of the technical analysts, etc. You guys are very, very good logistically. You guys can run it through. So yeah, maybe wear a different hat. We got a few different military hats around here. We may play around with those. And so as we look at this, guys, let's recover back into this phase 1 and phase 2. Let's get back into that. Aside from that, I looked at a chat. Someone want to talk about the U.S. Air Force. I thought that was pretty cool. So shout out to all the U.S. military. Shout out to all the professionals wherever you guys are at. We're glad to find you here because we want to go through this round 2 here. Now, what were we talking about in this round 2? I diverged a little bit to talk about the wealth management because I wanted to let you guys know the big thing. They're not upset about having paid too much. Is the expectation that's going to go back up? I think I'm getting that, or they're excited about getting more at a lower level. That's the bottom line. That's what I'm hearing, guys. And right now, people are excited about getting more, okay? And I don't see a problem with, if we get some now, just making sure people have some, backup reserve capital. That's VIP. That's what you guys essentially believe in, right? So what would we say? In terms of the entirety of this move, what I would say is if you'd like to join the channel, please join the channel. If you'd like to participate in the chats, we'd love to have you join with a badge next to your name. Now we have this first zone here. We have the second zone here. And, before we talked about the breakdown potential, I wanted to cover the fact no one seems to be upset over having paid. The big guys aren't upset about having paid too much. I'm going to tell you that right now from the ones I've talked to. So as we look at this second phase here, what's the analytic that we can run here? What is the analytic from the first phase to the second phase? Okay, well, we're talking about which lines have we broken, which lines have we not. Aside from an an overriding kind of a channel dynamic, okay? This channel dynamic wherein we would essentially expect some resistance at each of these, okay? We would need to conquer each of these, okay? These former lines of resistance as it was trying to accomplish something potentially to the upside. You guys know that. So each of these would be a dynamic that we would need to conquer. I want to discuss this. I've isolated them so that you can understand just in the nuance the second order of analytics, okay? Look at this, guys. We have clearly broken through this on the daily. As we talk about confirmation, getting a multiple, and I'm going to say clearly, let's look at this, guys. This is a very good contraindication for you to consider as you trade, if you're trading. Now, I brought this up because as we get into the details of the trade, some of you are happy just to own it. I mean, honestly, a lot of you are happy to own it. Even I've talked with people, wealth managers, etc., who still seem happy to own it, and they bought it too high, guys. So that's a nice dynamic to be in. Everyone's, well, we bought it too high. Well, and not me, but, they, etc., they're still happy to own it. They're kind of embarrassed about it, but it's kind of like a laughable matter. Well, we bought it too high. Okay, that's great. What are you going to do if it goes down? Hopefully, I'm going to buy some more, right? That's the easy thing. So we enjoy the technology. We're excited to be in the space, and we're excited to be able to have expressed some positive bullish news. Before we got this kind of, we caught the bottom, and then some skyrocketing news up today. It was very nice. Now, this has been, watch this, guys, watch this. Okay, technically, you see this express line here in line with these first two peaks here. Yes, you see that, absolutely. That's going to give us something that we've broken through. I'm going to show you a contraindication on the 1 hour. That's the daily, just in this second zone. Okay, on the second zone. On the hourly, let's take a look at this real quickly, guys. Look at this real quickly. It's going to change. Look at that. On the hourly, we have a different indication. Let's lift this up on the hourly to something along the lines of this. You see why I bifurcated this? Okay, I bifurcated zone 2. Why? Okay, these are real trade levels, guys. You should watch these. I know we love the space. We want to, but some of you trade actively. You love TA, so that's a real trade level right there that I just drew. Okay, so I have designated the first zone to partition that out. There are a lot of different patterns and a big drop through to a different lower level. Okay, we have this represents a lower level that we have moved down to. You guys know that. So there's an argument that this operates in and of itself. I'm going to say that. So within this dynamic, within this second express channel, amidst the retracement, and guys, as we continue to go forward, we may have various different kind of building blocks as we march up or down as we continue to go forward. We may have different structured, compartmentalized price actions, definable sets of price action that we can get into and look at analytically to try and profit, guys, to try and execute positive trades, to try and maximize our efficiency in terms of cost basis, get the lowest price we can, to try and trade as effectively as we possibly can. And that's what we're all about, guys. You know that. So in terms of let's look at this real quickly. The secondary zone here, this secondary zone is crucial on the hourly with a contraindication to the daily. You guys understand that? Contraindication to the daily. If you're looking for a take zone, okay, if you're trading. Now, I'm going to say, guys, I sent out the bullish post. Guys, I sent out the bullish post. I entered into a position, I told you guys about yesterday. I was very excited about things with JP Morgan, SpaceX, etc. I'm in. I know a lot of other people that are in right now, okay? I'm excited about that. I still love to trade. I love to trade Bitcoin too. I got to tell you, we'll crank through multiple trades a day. My day goes better when I book a positive trade. I'll tell you that. If I book 5 or 6 or 7 in a row, or if I can book 10 in a day, I love it, guys. I have a lot of fun, and so do we. We're a good group of day traders. We have, I think, the best group. We have a lot of fun. But I'm getting to the point. Like I don't know. Maybe I've been hanging around those advisors too much. Oh, like they're just happy. I think they're happy to own Bitcoin. So I'm excited that you guys are also happy to own Bitcoin. We're along to that expressed intent of getting along with the space and supporting the overall functionality of it. And it's just the truth. Now, technically, this line, let's just hone in on this. Let's get the exact figure in terms of your expressed take right now in the hourly is about 34,200. That 34,200 would be another line that would need to be broken out of in excess of the current 33,589. Okay, you'd need to break through about this area or this zone of about 33.9. Okay, about if we went straight up, it would be 34.2. But about that 30, guys, the 30. And let's look at this real closely, guys. You're going to go laterally a bit if you try and break into that zone. And I will zoom into this so you can definitely see. Do you see this expressed trend line? Absolutely, you do. Okay, in line. There's a reason that I have demarcated this second zone. Why? Because we're going to run into a lot of different trend lines here, and we definitely did experience a huge drop down into a different zone, a lower operating zone here in this second zone. So I think that these are going to be the most immediate lines that we're going to deal with, and if we were to, essentially they become irrelevant as well, because most of the lines that we would deal with this preceding peak, if you'll just pay attention to this preceding peak, most of the lines that we're going to run into, if not all of them, have already been conquered. So do you see, it does make some sense that we went ahead and we have decided to bifurcate that. We have decided to now say we're operating in our own zone, because any line that we would draw from that preceding that nice run up, guys, that was a nice move up. If you guys will recall that in around, what was that, June, and around the beginning of June, that was a nice run up. We really experienced some positive trades there, guys. That was a nice run up for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at that. That was almost a 30% run. That was when we started paying attention to the volatility. Like, this thing is getting interesting. A lot of people got their attention taken to it. I know you guys. A lot of people started paying attention. Like 30%. That's a nice move. A couple of flags, that'll work. So as we look at this, we can discount this previous area, okay, to an extent. Okay, now laterally, we're still going to have to deal with it. Absolutely, we would still have to deal with it laterally. That's, if and when we can get up out of this zone and deal with these lateral targets right here. And guys, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 lateral targets that we're going to have to beat on the upside. You guys just need to, we can schedule into this, but you guys just know we're going to have to, essentially, to walk our way up this little ladder here, we are going to have to beat all of the intermediary previous lines of resistance, guys. We're going to have to power through these different sections. Each one of them is going to represent a potential frustration. This is the battle that we're looking at right now from a technical standpoint. Okay, so we can go through all of the details in terms of the fundamentals. We're loving the fundamentals. I'm just so happy that we have good fundamentals right now. So exciting, guys. As these white lines are representative of the different levels of guys, just different levels we're going to have to walk back up through somehow. And guys, I'll just tell you one kind of exciting thing. I'm just going to tell you on my map right now, just on my map, if and when we get there, at what time, we're going to work on the timing later. I have $43,436. Now, in terms of that, what is that? We can go through the nuance of exactly how that's calculated. There are probably 2 or 3 different zones. The one thing that we have in our favor right now, guys, I want you to appreciate this in terms of a measured move. We have an enormous move down. And a lot of times people say, well, a move down is not good. If you can build the move down into a level from which to traject, guys, it can be a beautiful thing, particularly if you're not experiencing the move down, because you can use that as a measured move and you can stack that back up on top and move up. So that is essentially, guys, as you look at your chart patterns, as you look at your formations, your measuring techniques, setting that pricing objective is crucial. That is a part of the game. Let's dial back into this first set. Okay, this first area here, kind of phase 1. We have phase 2. You guys know that we have lined out. And go ahead and click on the like button. Let me know how many people are new versus have been here since the beginning. We're going through some heavy technicals on Bitcoin. Now, in terms of this, guys, this level, I'd say this phase one move here, dramatic price action to the downside. Okay, what does that give us? That gives us an overall pattern. I'm going to say this, guys. It gives us an overall pattern formation with an enormous edge to it, guys. An enormous measured entry point, which could be phenomenally beneficial to us. I want you guys to understand that, guys. The wider that you have in terms of, and guys, we saw this on another coin today, the wider the triangulation is that you have, or the wider the wedge that you have is, guys, the bigger the move can be to the upside. Do you understand that? The measurement technique, the measurement technique is going to take place, guys. Now, it's nuanced. I'm going to talk about the nuance. I'll get through those dynamics, guys, because I bifurcated this to start with. First of all, talking about how we can discount this original move, except for that lateral. I'll take that off, and the lateral will be just the previous resistance turning into to another level that needs to be beat, guys. You know that. As we look at the entirety of this move, though, a falling wedge, guys, that has this degree of magnitude, and we could go back to let's start with the lines. Let's just start with the lines. Let's just start to build this. Let's start to get some input. I'd like some input from, and see, now I'm drawing this essentially where we're at. This is going to be one of the frustrating factors that we will deal with. Okay, this is kind of the frustrating factor that we will deal with after we have broken through, and this is the excitement, right? This is the excitement of the move here, that after we have broken through all of this, and it was a great move that we just did live. And guys, as we entered into a long position today, we're definitely in the money right now. The frustration of this is going to be, and it's the nature of the descending triangle. However, we're in a falling wedge. Falling wedges are, and guys, what we have to our advantage in this game right now, what has seemed to be negative is positive. I'm going to tell you it's positive. Why? Because on different time frames, guys, we do not have a flat line except on the candle wicks. That's the only thing. That is the trick in this game right now. Literally, that the only flat line here, which would establish a base for a descending triangle. Understand this, guys. A descending triangle, one of the most bearish moves that we can possibly, try to just never conquer. They are difficult, okay? But a descending line of resistance, guys, that will potentially push and push and push. And I mean, a new high will cause you, well, we'll just push that. A new high, well, we'll just push that. What do we have to our advantage? The thing we have to our advantage, guys, is the fact that, as I've been explaining, this descending triangle throughout the entirety of the last several, I'd say weeks. Now, we are in a position where that's only holding on a non-conventional standardized framework. It's only holding upon the framework of operating on the wicks, on the candle wicks, guys. So it is an expressed low along the line. It is a flat line of resistance on the candle wicks. However, that is unconventional to do things that way. I've always prefaced that it's unconventional. So as we look at that, guys, that is the nuance that we're looking at in terms of the expression of that descending triangle. So we're going to need to essentially weigh, and this is the saving grace here, as we have fallen down. No one wanted to fall down further, right? We didn't want to. What's the benefit? Again, negative price action showing itself to be a positive right now. We could have maintained a flat line in and around, I'd say 30,000. We could have absolutely maintained a line of exactly at 30,000 and continued to bounce around and just maintain a flat line of 30,000, or a flat line in along the line of, let's say, of 97, or I'm sorry, excuse me, I misread that backwards. Dyslexic, just a bit, not at all. 29,000, excuse me. A little bit of action going on here this evening, so I got a little bit carried away. So as we have expressed this negativity in terms of the continued move down, guys, as we have expressed that negative sentiment, or the negative pricing, what it has achieved is we have this falling wedge. We just do. As a matter of absolute fact, that is the expressed move from which we can now gauge. We are going to say, and I want to point out again, guys, in the book, I want to point out that you guys are on page 147 in terms of analyzing this. John J. Murphy, etc. You guys know the principles of technical analysis. If you don't have that book, just go ahead and make sure that book is also front and center all the time. We definitely want to make sure that you guys have that. Yes, some of the military is some of the guys are definitely in the military. I'm not formally affiliated with any department, agency, or bureau, but I like hats. I definitely like hats. I got a cigar hat. I got a military hat. Grandparents, all kinds of people. 100-year history in the U.S. Navy in my family. But my intelligence teacher, one of my intelligence teachers, was definitely in the Air Force, and my grandfather was in the Air Force, and we are loud and proud supporters of the U.S. military. So I may wear all types of hats. So as we look at, if you guys have a hat you'd like me to wear, hey, send it on over. Maybe we'll wear your hat. So as we look at this, guys, this nature, and just understand of this as we look at this, guys, this move here, this downward slanting, which seemed to be so frustrating. It just kept catching me like, what are we doing? What is going on? We're forming a falling line of support. That's integral if we're also forming a falling line of resistance, guys, because it's going to formulate something that in the text, something in the materials is not 100%, okay, in terms of the nature of it. But I'm just going to bring up again, neither is Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin has been known to, I just don't count it out. If the institutions continue to catch up, we may be in kind of one of those quote unquote less common, okay, less common instances where a falling wedge can serve as a bottom, guys. So it can serve as a bottom in that regard. We do also have, and I sent this out last night to the VIP guys, is the fact that we do also on the line chart we have an expression of a double bottom here. Now we've had a few different double bottoms. This most recent expression of the double bottom on the line chart is going to be at the $29,000 mark, guys. So that is another expression of something that in and of itself this could do it. If we move to the different time frame, that's going to be the one hitch that we're going to have in the entirety of this, guys. On the different time frames, it's just going to want to continue to frustrate in terms of your interpretation of the lines, etc. So as you guys operate on the daily, if you trade more quickly, then you want to look, I'd say at the if you're trading every day, you probably want to incorporate the macro into the micro. Understand what's on the macro and go into the micro in terms of your smaller time frames. I would say that absolutely. As a matter of fact, so as we dig back into the daily, we tighten up our lines a little bit, but look how beautifully expressed this falling wedge is. It's dramatically well expressed. So you guys know that. And we had dropped down, and this is really what I decided to do was, this move was deep enough recently, that fall down where everyone was like, wow, we hit that 23.6 on the Fibonacci. I recall that. Below the 50% retracement, the overall aggregate retracement. But that was a deep enough dig. I just thought about it, and I was like, I've already defined this on the weekly chart. I've already said on the weekly that we have this. Let's go ahead and count this. And as I did it, we really achieved, I'd say, a confirmation or a conformance between the two, and between the weekly and the daily. So that's very, very nice to see, and that we're in a bullish formation, that we have broken out of either the falling wedge or the descending triangle, guys, if you wanted to do that on the wicks. Now, what we lose on the daily is we lose the notion of the double bottom. That's one thing that we lose. Okay, so I would look at one thing just quickly. We have achieved a double bottom here. Truth. Yes, we have. We have achieved a double bottom here. Truth. Yes, we have. We have a lower point now. Pay attention if you can. We have a lower point now. Correct. We have one double bottom on the daily. We have two double bottoms on the daily, and we have a lower point that looks pretty strong. Strong point here, two strong points, double bottom. Strong point here, double bottom. Now we have a strong point here. You guys paying attention? Absolutely. Now we have a strong point here. So we have a double bottom, a double bottom. We have a single point here, a nice pivot, a nice move, but we already have one, two, okay, double bottoms. That's expressed, guys, just exactly what it sounds like, guys. It's just it's an even hit along the guys, along the same kind of lateral line here. You guys know we can line this out real cleanly, but one of those double bottoms is actually, it's a former support that turned into a resistance later on down the road here. but you guys know frequently as you look at your charting formations, etc., that definitely can't happen. But as we formulate this new low and bring it into the context, and I say I'm going to tell you that I did reformulate that, and this is the context of it, that I did reformulate it. Let's go ahead and get rid of these lines of resistance so you can understand the type of information that went into this call today. In terms of this, and let's get rid of this real quickly in terms of the dual zones here. I think we've covered that quite well. Now, in terms of this hit down, I've incorporated that into the descending or the falling wedge. Okay, I've incorporated that into the falling wedge, right? Correct. Now, as part of that, I need to distinguish the fact that and highlight the fact that the argument against doing it, or one of the pitfalls of doing that, I'm going to say, is the notion that we have a solid hit here, a solid strike at a different level below. Here we had a solid strike at a level below. It was a double bottom. Here we also had the same double bottom. Here is another one. I'm bringing that up because we like to establish, we don't like to on the channel, but it has expressed it to us that as it has pushed, etc., it has established these double bottoms. So since we are at a lower operational level here, I'm going to say here rather than the first area, we're going to go ahead and consider the fact that we may be in another zone. Why don't we just draw that out? Why don't we draw that out and consider the fact that maybe we are at a lower and different operational zone. Now, you guys know we just covered on the hourly. That's not really expressed. Why is that? Well, on the hourly, this is where you get into a little bit of contraindication in terms of the time frames. You guys understand that? Because we're already in the same. We're in this same. We've already established that double bottom. If we would want to on the daily, the only thing is I'm going to say the daily is just a little different, guys. It's just a little different. So the bottom line is, if you're in a position, enjoy it, guys. We're enjoying our positions right now. I'm in the money right now. You guys know that. I believe we are in a falling wedge. I believe. I mean, guys, it's beyond dispute that we're in a falling wedge. We have been in. Let's go back to the daily just to reconfirm that. And I want to just bring that to your attention that yes, clearly we're in a falling wedge. I posted that out. I tweeted that out. And what happened, guys? Well, I just want to go over this. I posted that out, and we went through a huge price surge. We just did, and that was very nice to go through and just tell people, hey, bullish indicator, and then bam, we moved to the upside. Some of you may not have known what exactly happened in terms of a news event or otherwise. I don't think so. I think just the circulation that things have begun, not only just breaking whatever trend lines were there, but that we are breaking out, I think, of a falling wedge in the fact that it is a bullish. The falling wedge is a bullishly indicated pattern. So I'm looking forward to the additional price action. So if you guys have any questions, you can definitely ask them now. But that is the short and skinny in terms of things. Let me see what we have. What do we have? You got the book on page 147. Good. You got the book on page 147. That's good, Justin. I like to see that. Justin, don't know where your badge is, brother. Not sure where your badge is. Make sure you guys have those badges. Justin, not sure where your badge is. Need that badge. Take care of that stat if you can. You guys know VIP top level membership. Now, in terms of the additional diagnostics, guys, I had considered breaking this out in terms of time frequencies in terms of the Fibonacci time zones. I'm going to tell you, there is not a great, the time zones in here are not really well indicated. I'm just going to tell you in terms of what you would expect on the time zones, they don't necessarily align too awful well. The one indication that you do get is that we're in an extended time period. This is the extent to which they will operate well. We have entered into an extended, I'd say this extended period here, which seemed to lag quite a bit. That's indicating that, yes, there's some degree of a periodic Fibonacci at work. If I do begin to draw these, you'll see from the peak to the peak here, and then we have another, we can try and spend the time, and we can match these up perfectly. But this extended period of time here is indicative that we're in some sort of a growth phase here. After these types of growth phases, we can have one of two things happen, and this is crucial as you guys look at your trading and your holdings, guys. This is a good level of analytics for you to consider. You will notice the previous intervals are tighter. They thereafter expand, and then they continue to expand within this region. The price action became dull during this region. It just really stretched out. That is the Fibonacci time sequence. They do expand, guys. You'll know that about your Fibonacci time sequences. The next time sequence would be longer. That's one option. The next time sequence would be expected to be longer. And the reason we would use a Fibonacci time sequence is because we did do a reset in the entirety of moving down to this level. We have done a reset to where we can reasonably expect that we have reset on things like a Fibonacci time sequence. I think that is expressed here on this micro pricing frequency here. I think it's also potentially expressed within the entirety here. We can go through those dynamics as well, but I will stick with the original time frequencies we had running up through January to go on those pivots with the discussion yesterday in terms of JP Morgan, their position, etc. And the great news about them offering Bitcoin to their clients, their wealth management clients, etc. Crypto funds, that is very exciting. So as we look at this, what I would state is people asking another bottom to get back in. A good question. Are you expecting another bottom to get back in? I didn't wait today. I'll tell you that. I did not wait. I pulled the trigger, got in. A lot of people who pulled the trigger are happy that they're in. And I'll just tell you, it's a breakout moment. I'll tell this, not me and not financial advice. Technically speaking, you guys look in your book, technically speaking, it's not just an opinion. It's not someone yelling or shouting. It is a moment for entry once you break a trend line, guys. Once you've broken through and you break a trend line, guys, it is a moment for entry. I think what's really important as we look at the nuance of this is that we are in a falling wedge, okay, which is bullish by nature, guys. It's just bullish by nature. Yes, it's contraindicated. It's supposed to be a continuation pattern, meaning if the continuation pattern is on the way up and you get a falling wedge, it's going to continue to the way up. Okay, it's up, falling wedge, up. It does discuss in depth. Murphy, the principles in New York, etc. They do discuss, guys, in depth the contraindication of, well, it's supposed to be a continuation pattern. If it starts from the top and goes down, we're going to say it can form a bottom. It can form a bottom. Okay, they do say that. It's less common. But the pricing, this pricing dynamic of Bitcoin, I'll just say, has been anything but common. As we discuss ideas like a super cycle, etc., it is something which could formulate into the opinion that this could be. I mean, guys, if an ascending triangle can do it, I'll tell you this, out of all of this, literally we hit an ascending triangle here. And we can go into the depths again on this and the slower time frames, etc. We hit the ascending triangle here. You guys know that. And that's real key, guys. That's real key that we did hit one. Now, it's not in the macro. It's not a large one, but it is an ascending triangle. You guys know that. If another formulation like that were to start up in this area, it would be a reconfirmation. I'm looking forward to what this will decide to do. If I were looking for an entry right now, I would dig into the micro and decide exactly what does it look like. We're in the midst of formation here. I would also look at the different levels of prior resistance and support that we could plug into. And guys, I'm happy with my position right now. I'm ready. I'm just a little bit more at ease with SpaceX, with JP Morgan, etc. Just saying, yeah, absolutely, I have a position, and absolutely, I'm still ready to double and triple down at lower levels. I would love it to achieve lower levels if I could, pick some up at that price. If not, I'm comfortable with the position I have, and a lot of people in Crypto Kingdom, I think, are comfortable with that. We also do love to trade. Okay, it's a lot of fun to trade. We're traders at heart, guys. You know that, day traders. So we tear it up all the time, and but I think we've increased our long position on it. We've definitely increased our long position as well, and that's just that's exciting that we are entering into that kind of I'd say that new phase in terms of guys just entering into a bullish mode with Bitcoin. We have not been in a bullish mode with Bitcoin. It has just been not expressed technically for us. So to the extent that the fundamentals have lined up with the technicals, we're more in line with the technicals, which oddly are formulating. It's interesting as we look at this, guys, with JP Morgan, etc., with SpaceX, with the convention. It's just timed perfectly to where we're expressed in a bullish pattern. And guys, with the level of variation, etc., in the market, anything can occur. You guys know that. I'm comfortable with anything occurring right now, but I'm also comfortable with the fact that this is a bullish. I mean, we can pull up hook, line, and sinker, guys. Formalized materials that the falling wedge is a bullish pattern. So I'm going to stick with that. That is the position I have taken, and it's a position I don't want you to rely on. It's not financial advice, but I am hanging out with people every day that have a position. I'm hanging out with wealth managers, etc. They have a position. They bought too high. They're still happy. Some of them bought at 60,000. They're still happy. It's not ruining their day. So it's a nice thing for us to look at in terms of, we like to buy low, sell high every day. We day trade all the time, right? So that's one of those that's one of those issues coming up. Is like, well, we trade all the time. Don't get lackadaisical on the price quite yet, right? So we definitely appreciate that. So the other, I think the structured nuance here within is definitely realizing one more potential line of resistance. Okay, let's go through one more potential line of resistance that you have in terms of your holding that you're going to have to make it through, guys. Okay, we're on the daily right now. This is going to be a key level. A lot of people are looking. I know Andrew, lead support analyst here at Crypto Kingdom. He is, guys, best trader you're gonna talk to. He's phenomenal. Hats off to him every single day. And yeah, he's just really a great trader. As we look at this on the daily, let's remind ourselves on the daily, these two pivots right here, and this most recent pivot zone, we've conquered that. Correct. Let's go to the hourly real quick. Let's look what changes. Contraindication. Absolutely. We need confirmation on all the time frames, don't we? We really do, because look at this. Well, we haven't quite gotten there yet. On the hourly, guys, it's just going to be another level to get through, okay? As we march back up, if you can imagine that we're going to have a lot of different levels to get through, absolutely, okay? Absolutely, we're going to have a lot of different levels. Just understand that you're going to want to go to your different time frames. Me telling you, not the answer. You're going to want to go to the different time frames. When do your calculations, when does your level of confirmation, your overall assessment of the entirety, when does it meet your threshold? Some of you want to say, well, I've got a real high risk tolerance. It doesn't matter to me. You know, I'm fine with this. I'm going to throw more cash at it. Or somebody say, well, it's really kind of precious money to me. If there's any kind of a chance that it could hit a wall for a moment on my trades, I want to execute a positive trade. So I'll be out until let's say it breaks through through this next one. So one thing that could occur, which we should definitely discuss, if indeed it does decide to break through this right here, not only is this a previous level, an indicated trend line indicated by the hits along these first two pivots within this zone, correct? Not only is this a previously indicated, say an ongoing trend line indicated by the two hits along the pivot, not only is it a resistance, it is also a potential area for an entry into a trade or entry into increasing your position. So the exciting thing is, as we work up into this and as we conquer this next, let's say the next level, and we'd want to see this breakout with some, even here, guys, breakout with some confirmation, looking at all the guys, all of the RSI, the MACD, all the volume, etc. We're going to want to look at those issues. We're going to want to look at all the confluent factors, and we're going to average that into essentially our decisions that we're going to make. So I want you guys to view that not as just a problem, but also as an opportunity. Each of these, as we get into it, it's like, well, this doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound very bullish. Well, I'm going to tell you guys, as we break through these lines of resistance, guys, and I'm going to say each one of these is going to be an accomplishment. I'm going to say I'll start off with that. Each one of these, and I'm going off the previous lines of resistance, that are indicated. I'm indicating those laterally. Alt-H on your keyboard. In TradingView, hit Alt-H. That's a horizontal line. Alt-V. A horizontal is Alt-H. V, okay? Alt-V is vertical, as you guys know that, all right? So that's very nicely indicated. So in terms of each of these issues that we have to conquer up and above, they may not have the same indication, okay, for you, or technically, i.e. a trend line. Breaking through a trend line, technically speaking, guys, it's not my opinion, technically is an opportunity for an increase, or for an entry at an increased level. We do things a little bit different than you might do things. And I'll just say, from what I've heard of the group, I've heard them, they're always worried about a low price. I think they'll trade a breakout. I know that Andrew, for instance, excuse me, Andrew got into a position today as well. I think breaking through the trend line had something to do with him doing that. Whether or not you are of the type of trader that you're going to decide to enter into, let's say, an increased position with breaking any of these or each of these, okay, additional lines that are former resistance, okay, that you're going to have to power back up through again, whether or not you would add once that is broken and say, okay, I kind of feel like we're free and clear. For instance, the rationale would be, let's say we broke this previous line of resistance in around the 36,000 to 36,500. That's this area here and area right here. Let's say, having broken both of these, it doesn't seem like we have a lot indicated in this zone between, let's say, 36,000 and 40,000. Doesn't seem like there's a lot indicated. Okay, and that would be the area in between here, the previous area of resistance, previous high, and the previous area of resistance or previous high, intermittent high here. So as we look at that, that's going to be the dynamic we're going to look at. You're going to essentially decide for yourself. In terms of the probabilities, you're going to say, well, where's the next line of resistance? If there's not much of a line of resistance, guys, in between this zone, and what we would start to do honestly, we would start to look back at the entirety, just so you guys schedule your trades up. We would start to look back at the entirety of the pricing action. We would start to denote not just within this. Unfortunately, we have enough hits in here. I think it's pretty well. We're pretty well slated with quite a few lines of resistance. But I would also, me personally, I will line out, let's say the previous levels of resistance within the beginning of this move around here. I will identify those. This move here, this double top that was accomplished here, I will line that out. I will get extremely, and you'll see that was not just hit once or twice. That was hit 3 times here. 1, 2, 3. So that's a key key level there at the 37,375. That's the type of diagnostics that I would do, and that we're doing now, guys, to identify potential areas of resistance on the way up, guys. So we have that contraindication between the daily and the hourly. You guys know we just went through that. Again, on the hourly, guys, we don't have a problem here. On the daily, we have an issue. We have this issue. On the daily, we do not have this issue. On the hourly, we do. Correct. Stated correctly. We have this line which has clearly been beat on the daily. Now on this hourly, okay, that's when we dig into the nuance. A lot of times, guys, on the 5 minute, you know this from looking at 5 minutes, is going to present more problems than the 30 minute, right? The more the 1 second, things are going to get really messy the further you dig into things. On the macro view, we like what we see. Is the bottom line right now. We like what we see. Now you guys know on this hourly, we just went through this, and you're going to have a different line of a different express trend line you're going to need to break on that hourly. For those of you who are into trading more, it may be a great opportunity for you to enter into a heavier position. Just understand that technically you're going to have a resistance level here at where this white line is, around this 34,888. Also at the 36,000, this previous intermittent high. Okay, you're going to have another intermittent resistance level, guys, at 36,000. Working up from there, 36.5, this previous intermittent high there as well. So you wouldn't necessarily just be free and clear of this channel. People will trade those. If you notice some price action that seems a little divergent or a little chaotic, it will just continue to operate like that. So the first key level to target at and to beat, guys, the next level you need to beat, if we can get there, and we're hoping we get there, I've got a position 33,640, 33,640, and I'm going to work with the price action a little bit. I may trade heavily, guys. I may get into it and just start slamming through trades. I'm just going to tell you, I feel good about Bitcoin right now. Now, I'm just, you guys know, probably in an hour you'll check with me like, oh, I'm just trading. We'll probably be slamming in the back rooms, just cranking through positive trades. We love to trade. That's what we love to do. We have former investment bankers, former everything from blue collar to white collar guys. But we've had some of the best in the group, and it's just been nice to trade. We have a lot of fun going through the technicals, etc. And you guys make sure you join the VIP level. It's the top level. We have the back rooms in Twitter, and guys, we are lit up all day long with charts, with formations, with trades, with trade diagnostics, we are heavy on Fibonacci's. We are heavy on the mantra of the VIP is always heavy reserve cash. We have big time supporter Angel in the top right. You guys know over $10,000. He's our chief benefactor. Hats off to Angel, whose son is in the Air Force. What's going on, Angel? Etc. Nephew, family in the Air Force. I think quite a bit of family in the Air Force. So maybe I'll wear the hat for you. How about that, Angel? If you like that, I'll wear the hat for you, brother. And just $10,000 level of support, guys. It just lets you know he's doing well. He's been around in Bitcoin since $7.50. Have you done the mathematics? What if you were involved in Bitcoin at $7.50? What would $100 turn into if you were involved at Bitcoin at $7.50? Have you guys done the mathematics? I don't know. Why don't you do the math real quickly? What would the math be, guys, if you were involved in Bitcoin at $7.50? Okay, let's do this real quickly. Let's just do this. Let's pull out the big guns here in terms of the calculative work, right? Let's just do this. Now, $7.50, right? Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. 64,863.10. Okay, $64,863.10, right? Yes, let's do this. Let's divide that by $7.50. Divided by $7.50 is 8,648. Okay, 8,648. So that's 8,648 times your money if you invested at $7.50. Okay, great. So let's say if you made 8,648% times your money, let's say you put in $100 at $7.50. Okay, that is going to be $100. Okay, $100 at that amount is going to be 864,000. If you put in $1,000, if you put in $1,000 at $7.50, that's going to be $8.64 million. Okay, so that's going to be $8.64 million if you put in a grand at Bitcoin at $7.50. So that's a nice that's a nice return. That would be a nice return. 8.64 points, guys. That's a beautiful return. 8.7, about what, almost $8.5 million on $1,000 investment. That's pretty nice, guys. So we are excited to have him and you guys here. It just speaks to the volume of guys. I think it's a nice time to be involved in Bitcoin. Not everyone is involved. Not everyone understands it. We're just excited to be around it and have you guys here. It's a cool dynamic. It's a lot of fun. So we appreciate you guys being here tonight. If you have additional questions, I have to shout it out to guys and take some sweat off your brow for Axis. Okay, I let you guys know about this. If you guys want to trade, I had put in, and I want you guys to know this, the exchange, which has new coin offerings, initial coin offerings continually. If you guys are looking at new coin offerings, guys, that's Gate Exchange. And Gate Exchange, I'm going to put this in right now. I'm going to put in the link right now so that you can get involved in Gate Exchange. And Gate Exchange has initial coin offerings still, guys, still. It's the most phenomenal, in terms of the pinned tweet right now. You'll see the pinned tweet. Gate Exchange is awesome, guys. It's just amazing. It's really, really nice. So just look for those, initial coin offerings. They're going off like gangbusters. We're trying to stay in the bullish mode amidst a retracement. If things slow down, like we talked about in this Fibonacci timing sequence, things just went sideways for a minute. Well, we'll trade some altcoins. We'll do something fun. Just kind of spice the day up. Look at some initial coin offerings, maybe some long-term potential, something that might go 1,000 extra, something like that. It'd be nice over time. So in terms of all that, just make sure, guys, that you're plugged into the VIP. We appreciate you guys being around. And this is London with the Crypto Kingdom. It's been nice to speak with you this evening, and we'll be in the back rooms probably trading. Justin, whoever else, if you have for a let's see, if Justin if anybody who has not renewed their VIP, get it done, because we need to share this information only with VIP. And of course, the streams are open. We are welcome to have you guys. So you guys take care of yourself. Have a good, safe weekend, and let's go trade. Let's go get